guys, nickel and diamond it here. So I've already removed the center console. Here you can see the remainders of the jute backing. We're just going to toss that in my new favorite tip here, the trash bag when you're working in a car, because you're just going to have trash and that's all there is to it. We have a bunch of 10mm bolts that we're going to have to go after, or you either haven't done this yet and need to, or you're just in denial and you think your 25-year-old car is in perfect shape. I got my shifter rebuild kit from Mike over at Miata Mecca is his online store name. It's also I think under mikesplace.biz or something like that. Because he's a local guy here to the valley, so you know, support your local businesses when you can rather than the Chinese knockoff mafia. Most of these by now are very old and very dry rotted, and they're just dead, especially if you live in drier climates like the one that I'm in. And then you can see the lower 10mm bolts down here that we need to also take off. So you can see just how much play in gear there is with the shifter. I can move, what, about 6mm to either side for more than a centimeter of travel, side to side in first gear. Same thing in reverse. Plenty of play. Back down in fourth at the other end of the transmission. So it's not just the 1-2 synchro or anything like that. Even up in fifth. That's a lot of play. That's at least a good roughly centimeter to centimeter and a half diameter circle. That's very bad. You don't want that. You'll need some other tools for this particular job, not just a 10mm socket, although that's the main one. You'll need some kind of old dingy hand pump so that you can get the old transmission fluid back out of the turret. And all of the dust and whatever other contaminants that it's no doubt carrying at this point. We're still in loosen. These bolts aren't in super tight, so they're you don't need to, as another guy, I think Car Passion maybe was the channel, mentioned, you really don't have to get out your silverback Gorilla for this job. You can leave that back in your closet. Why it's in your closet, we don't want to know. Too much detail. Let me refocus a little bit here. You can maybe see the amount of play in this shift collar. Well, that shift collar play is where the uncertainty in your shifts comes from. So that's why we're interested in replacing this piece, but also all of the other plastic pieces that have worn out, including the metal wave washers that are partially there to kind of help apply even pressure against the slip ring here, so that there's kind of an even pressure against the shifter, and probably helps to some degree with the return to neutral. It'll save you a lot of trouble if you just cut this upper portion of this lower shift boot, and you'll want to eventually start wiggling this rest of the bushing or the rest of the boot off of the shifter. Shouldn't be all that difficult. The more of the rubber that's gone and degraded, the easier it'll be. So comes off pretty simply, no big deal there. These guys, funny enough, slip off the top, and there you are. You can see there's a lot of wear. It could use a little encouragement in spite of that. So I'm going to try and be real careful not to mar up the nice smooth surface of the shifter ball. We just want to encourage this guy out slowly but surely. Just like that. So the new one should be quite a bit smoother. So we're also going to want to pull out the old spring washer in the lower surface. The upper one has these kind of spring clip looking clamps, and we want to clip those in just like that. And this one will go on here like so. Ideally without any more debris or anything like that. There we go. Something like this. Alright, so looks like both top and the bottom have bits and pieces, but in my case I have most of a washer, so this guy was definitely dead, and it's a good thing we're replacing these. So the circular divot is in the lower one, even though the lower also has some alignment points. Yeah, I'm not sure where the other piece of that guy is. So we're going to pump out some of the fluid here momentarily. Try and get down to where it's fairly dry, down in the actual transmission turret. And yes, you can do this differently by draining the fluid from the bottom side of the car. But well, that's a lot more work than I'm wanting to do here. Before I install the lower shift collar, I'm going to do just a little dab of grease. So I really prefer synthetic grease for most of what I'm doing generally. Make sure that everything is nicely greased up before dropping it back into place. Not because I'm trying to cause issues with emulsions, but what I do want to do is make sure that it's thoroughly lubricated with the new shift collar. Sorry for the lack of video for parts of this. The sensor just gets too warm because it's really hot out here in the Sonoran Desert. So anyway, as promised, here's the after. So a little less play going on. I no longer have the 360 wobble. It's now much more notchy, which is exactly what I want. So you can see there's still some side to side. There's going to be some of that naturally, but there's not nearly as much forward and backward play, and it's no longer this large circular pattern. Neutral feels much more stiff, which is nice because all the springs are working, so the neutral return is very good, and it feels very tight. It goes like this, and you reinstall it, and try and tuck it down under all the wires and everything. Just going to snug.